Hello everyone, I'm Marc Brunet and welcome to my series on world building. Here we're developing the world of Chroma Island. In this new episode, I'll introduce a new race, the Yellow People, or as they are known on the island, the Laguna tribe of Chroma Island. Let's dive right in. Alright, so today what we're going to be looking at are the Yellow People, and the Yellow People live underground. So basically what I've been trying to do with every new race that I introduce, and today is one of those days. You know, it's been a while since the last episode, so I wanted to introduce something I've been working on for a little bit now, and that would be it. So the Laguna tribe of Chroma Island. With other races so far, I've been kind of tackling their, reproductive, ways, the kinds of stuff that they eat, their lifespan and things like that. But I won't be talking much about that in this particular episode when it comes to the Yellow People, because they are very similar, at least what I have planned so far, they are very, very similar to just humans. So however we live life, however we have kids and feed and, all those things, the Yellow People do exactly the same, with the main difference being their size. So the Yellow People, kind of like, gnomes almost, are very, very short. The taller ones will be maybe pushing 3 to 4 feet tall. And that's in contrast with the rest of the tribes on the island, which are usually at least double that, if not triple. So that makes the Yellow People the smallest of the island and the weakest physically as well. So to avoid all the dangers that are found on the island, all the different creatures that are now attacking all the other colored races, well, they've settled to live underground, and that is where they're born, and that's where they spend most of their lives. So the Yellow People are the 5th race that I've introduced so far, after the green, red, white, and blue people. And even though their lifestyle might be very similar to ours, there are definitely things that make them unique, aside from their size. So let's talk about that. So I guess the main thing that I've kind of found for these, for these people, one of the things that make them different is going to be their power to use telekinesis. Nothing too strong, they're not like Jedi level, but definitely something that allows them to move things around and kind of offset their overall weakness from the fact that they're smaller. And it's not so much on their own that their power becomes interesting, because on their own it kind of depends on the person, and most of them are generally kind of weak. And so they'll be able to move things around like, like boulders, logs and things like that. Maybe something like up to twice their body weight. But it's when they group up and use their powers for the same thing, that's when it becomes very, very strong, multiplying their individual strength and individual powers. And as you can see now, just from the painting that I'm working on in the background here, they found some interesting things underground on the island. Titans. And so at this point, this is something that I haven't really talked about, but in my mind, it's pretty clear that whatever those people are, and not only the Yellow People, but all the different races on Chroma Island, they all come from the same place. Almost like a prehistoric human type, something that they all quickly evolved from, but isn't like natural selection. So it's something that's been happening a lot faster. So I'm thinking more in terms of some sort of curse maybe. That part of the lore is definitely still a work in progress, but something happened, and now, well, what we have in current day on Chroma Island is a bunch of different races of different colors that seem pretty different, but with some distinct characteristics that they all share, which is also why they kind of all look pretty human. And so all of this to say that whoever was there first left some relics of the past on the island, and that would be those big titans that the Yellow People have been fortunate enough to discover. So for some reason, those titans, they were, buried underground. And I say titans, but they're not that tall. I mean, they are in comparison to the Yellow People, but I would say maybe like 20 feet tall, something like that. I mean, it's pretty tall, but they're not giant. For scale reference, if we take a previous episode when I talked about the legendary Berserker of the Red People, well, that Berserker would be much bigger. But anyways, what are those titans in the context of the Yellow People? So what I've kind of imagined is that they found those things on the ground, and because of their telekinesis powers, some of the people from the Laguna tribe, the yellow people, well, they've been able to make those titans move to their will. So obviously this this goes back to my love for for mechs, for big robots. And the idea is that some of the females, and the females only, for some reason, we don't know why, I don't know why, but a few of the yellow females have been able to pilot those titans. So the titans are all mechanical. It's something that was built, before everybody's time on the island. And they might have been like drones, like remotely controlled or something like that in the past when they were first created. But now they've all been kind of abandoned, after all these years, thousands of years probably. And while their main, original source of energy has been completely depleted since, the yellow people have been able to bring them back to life, kind of. So the idea was that they discovered a bunch of titans like that, but most of them were probably too destroyed, or time had just, taken its toll on some of them, on the majority of them. And only like one or two, I'm thinking two, are still left functional. And even though they don't have any energy left, the yellow people, because of their magic powers, with whatever kind of technology that they have been able to to make two of them function, repairing them enough so that they can actually move, and then making them actually move when some of those females from the Laguna tribe pilot them from inside of their stomach. So that's kind of, where they go in. There's an entrance there somewhere. And once they're inside, their powers, their telekinesis powers are kind of, enhanced, multiplied somehow by the Titan. And it allows those few yellow people to move the Titans just like they can move their own bodies. Now, the main problem that the yellow people have with the Titans is that there are only two functioning ones. Maintenance requires a lot of materials. And I'm thinking that this discovery is something that is fairly recent, so that they haven't really experimented a whole lot with the Titans, and there's still a lot to discover, which was anyways the reason behind those paintings. I really wanted to illustrate the origin of those Titans because I'm thinking they're going to be playing a big role in the lives of the yellow people on the island, at least. And even though they might not really seem like it, those Titans are going to be their primary weapons, their main ways to defend themselves against all the other races on the island, all the different monsters, creatures, and it's basically what gives them a fighting chance. Because before that discovery, and even though they can group together and use their powers, and even though there's a lot of them, the fact remains that they are still pretty weak in comparison to all the other races, and all this time had been kind of hiding underground. And now with their new discovery, well, who knows, things might change. And that might pave the way for a lot of really cool interactions between them and the other races. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have when it comes to the yellow people so far. So there's a lot still to to explore, but now I wanted to turn my attention to the actual painting here that I've been working on and try to explain a little bit what's happening there, or actually the painting right before that, because it's a better introduction. So that painting was the moment when one of the scouts for the yellow people kind of randomly stumbled upon this really massive cave on the ground, something that they were not aware of, and I really wanted to illustrate that painting or that moment because it's something that's definitely like pivotal for the yellow people, almost like the one moment in their history where they took some of the power of the island for themselves. And now fast forward probably many months, maybe years, to this particular illustration here, and I think there's a lot of cool cool things about this one here that might not be as obvious unless I explain them. So the first thing would be the fact that they're actually painting the Titans, which are usually just white. There's just no paint, it's just white plastic almost. But the yellow people are kind of not religious, but yeah, I guess they are religious. And also a little bit, not crazy, but yeah, I guess crazy. In the sense that they see themselves as something grand, something that you would definitely not suspect coming from them. So being so small, I was thinking that this could be kind of a cool complex that they have almost, where they see themselves as the chosen ones, like the one race to rule them all, even though they've been the complete opposite of that for all of their history, right? So they've been hiding all this time, they're really small, they're really weak, and all the other races are a huge threat to their existence. But for some reason, and it might have to do with the fact that they are very similar to humans, all the colors, all the colored races, common ancestor, or they might have discovered some scriptures or something like that, or something in the caves, right? Because they live on the ground, so maybe it's more likely that they found something from the past just like they did with the Titans. And anyways, all of these things combined ended up building their culture, their beliefs that they are superior, that there's somebody looking out for them, and that one day they are destined, to rule the island. Not underground, but on the surface, just like their prophecy has been saying. But yeah, it's all that background, all that culture around the yellow people that is kind of represented in this painting. So they're painting the Titan in their image with the same color, and with his back to us, we have some sort of a priest, or the equivalent of that in their culture, following some sort of ritual whenever they awaken one of the Titans. So yeah, there's still a lot of mysteries, around the yellow people, around their discovery, around the Titans, and even bigger than that, particularly the link between the past, the common ancestor that all the colored races share. Oh, and something I forgot, of course, since there are so few yellow people that can control or pilot those Titans, well, they are obviously like celebrities within the tribe, which is why she's not doing anything and just kind of waiting for the other people to do their jobs. But yeah, anyways, like I was saying, a lot of really cool additional lore to Chroma Island with the addition of the yellow people and the Titans. And just like with all the other races that I've been introducing, this adds more gas to the fire, and it just allows for a lot of new cool interactions between all the different people on the island. And I'm just really excited to explore that even more moving forward. Now, this project started in the context of my full art education program, Art School for Digital Artists. So if working on a project like this, or if simply being able to create the kinds of illustrations that I've been creating in the context of this project is something that interests you, definitely check out the full art education program, Art School for Digital Artists. It's what allows me to spend more time on these episodes. You can find a link to it in the top right corner of the screen. I'll put links in the description below as well. Now, when it comes to the yellow people or the Laguna tribe of Chroma Island, I've pretty much covered all I had so far, and so the rest of it will be for a future episode. Now, I've explored a lot of different things in the context of the project, and I have a ton more to explore, but I don't feel as strongly as I did at the beginning of the project to work on certain things. Now there's just so many doors in front of me that I'm excited about, that I can pretty much go any direction and still really enjoy the process. So I'd really love it if you guys could let me know what you want to see in the next episode, what you feel I should explore more. And so let me know down in the comments below, and whatever gets upvoted the most is probably what I'll be working on in the next episode. So there you go, that's it for today. I hope this all gave you a couple ideas for your own projects, and make sure that you subscribe and enable notifications to be notified as soon as the next episodes come out. All right, I'll see you next time. Bye bye.